You are listening to Against the Herd.
Well, today I wanted to talk a little bit about the supernatural. I think a lot of times, especially in the church, we kind of forget how supernatural the world is. We hear a lot about Jesus and his miracles, but there was supernatural on both sides of the fence. Egyptian magicians, when Moses comes into the court, and they're able to perform the first three things that Moses did, they were able to replicate them. First, turn their staffs into serpents, then making the water into blood, and then bringing frogs out of the Nile. But I think it's important that we understand this is a supernatural world. I'm going to share some supernatural events. The first one that comes to mind, and some of you may have heard this before, but it was the time that me and three of our friends were camping up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We used to go up there and camp for a week or two and just kind of get lost, catch some fish, and pretty much live off what we caught. As we progressed on this certain trip, we decided we were going to go further west than we ever had, and we went into the Porcupine Mountains. For 3 days it rained and rained, and we never really got to get far away from the campsite at all because of how wet and how much rain there was. But on that third day, the sun came out in the afternoon and started drying things up a little bit. And about 5 o'clock, we decided we're going to go for a short hike because it's finally nice outside. So we grab a couple things and go on this hike, aiming to go about a mile to a place called Mirror Lake. We never made it to Mirror Lake. We kept going up these inclines and think, over the next ridge, that's where it'll be. Over the next ridge, that's where it'll be. And then we'd go down and come back up the other one. We got to a part where we had to wade through a river that was about waist deep. Wade through this river to get across the other side to keep on the path. And we kept going. It got dark fast. We turned around to start heading back, never finding that lake. It got to the point you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. There's no starlight, no moonlight coming through that canopy of trees. Normally, up there that far north, it stays light in the middle of the summer till almost 10 o'clock. But that tree canopy made that happen so much faster. As we're coming back, we're trying to retrace our steps. We're trying to work our way up and down these inclines, having to hold on to each other's packs to feel ourselves going up and down. And having 3 flashlights, because we didn't plan on being after dark, but we had 3 flashlights, one being a headlight, one being a little pocket light, and the other one being a AA mag light. The headlight was the first to go. With the terrain being the way it was, one of the guys with us tripped and smashed the front of the headlight on a rock. We were down to 2 flashlights. Coming back, we kept looking and losing the trail, having to double back, find it again, double back, find it again. Not knowing for sure if we were on the right trail or if it even was a trail because it was so poorly marked. The second flashlight, the little pocket light, just went out. Battery died. We're down to 1 flashlight, 1 small mag light. 2 double A's. Now, I want you to envision this as we're walking down this trail. On my right side, there is a rock wall that just goes up further, up this cliff ledge. And to the left, it kind of slowly meanders down and drops off a little bit into a big flat. Lots of trees, lots of cover. But we're walking along this rock wall, and I take that flashlight and I look to the left. And I see a set of eyes. It's a little higher off the ground. It's probably 50 yards away. And I don't think much of it, thinking maybe it's a deer, and we keep walking forward. I glance over a little while later and see those eyes are keeping kind of pace with us. It starts making me wonder what it is. Look back again. They're there. And I take that flashlight and turn back a little further to my left. And there's another pair of eyes, and another pair of eyes, and another pair of eyes. There's 10 to 12 pairs of eyes, all keeping pace with us. At this point, we've been walking for a couple hours. We've gone way more than a mile. Cannot find the river that we first crossed. That rock wall still on our right here. These eyes on our left. And we just keep going down that supposed path, tracking back to where we believe our camp was. For about 2 hours, those eyes kept pace with us on the left, slowly moving closer and closer in towards us until you could finally see the outline of a body. And we realized there were wolves pacing us. Never found that river that we crossed. Don't know how. Don't know how you cross it going one way, and you do not cross it coming back. We're going along that rock wall. We have our eyes to the left, rocks to the right, and we come down to the end of where this really thick foliage is all along these trees. And we're all kind of like, crap. This is we're kind of stuck here. And something says, just move that foliage, move that stuff to the side. We literally moved the vines to the side, and there is our tent. There's our car. It's almost like walking through a portal that God set up just to make sure we were safe. 2 hours they trailed us on that side. Took us hours to get back. But God made us a path. Protected us that entire time and gave us a supernatural exit. I'm going to tell a couple other stories as well that are personal stories to me. I'd like people out there, if you have a story, how you've seen the supernatural work in your life, to reach out, and I would love to record that with you. And it's a powerful thing to use those stories to show people who God is in your life, to show when He protected you, when He guided you, when He showed you something. And sometimes not all those stories are positive stories where we see the supernatural. My grandfather was a missionary. He was a lay minister. He was originally a mounted police officer in Detroit. After retiring and never being able to sit still, he was a lay minister for a while, and then was a missionary, and he went to Haiti one time, and Haiti's very thick with different types of witchcraft and things of that nature. And my grandfather was going from town to town, and they were handing out, Bibles and witnessing to people. But when you went to the town, you had to ask the person who was over the town if you were allowed to be there. You had to get permission. So he went to a house where they said that the town leader was living, and walked in the front door and asked if he could speak with him, to ask permission to be there. He asked this gentleman. The gentleman walks up the stairs, goes into a room that you can see, and comes out and says he'll be right with you. This gentleman came out of the room, this leader, came down the stairs and came directly in front of my grandfather. Which doesn't sound amazing until my grandfather told me that his feet never touched the ground. The man levitated the entire time, all the way down to standing right in front of him. There's supernatural evil things the same as there is supernatural good. There's a fight going on all around us all the time. There's angels, there's demons, there is spiritual warfare, and there's miracles. It's all around us. Now, one other positive story I'll leave you with. When I was in high school, I delivered pizza. And one night, just as it was getting dark, I was delivering pizza on a pretty main road. And I'm looking for an address on my, I gotta back this story up all the way. I drove a small two-door, call it sports car, not really, but small car. It was a Cutlass Supreme, the Oldsmobiles that were the two-door, a little bit smaller. But it was a nice little car. That morning, before I went to work, the car wouldn't start. My mom says, you can take my car. My mom, meanwhile, has like a 1970 something or other Capri Classic. Looks like one of the cop cars out of Dukes of Hazzard or something of that nature. The thing is gigantic. It was a boat, solid steel frame. These things were huge. And she says, you can use my car tonight. It's okay. So I take her car, and I'm delivering, and just around the time it's about to be dark, it's just about turning dark, I'm looking for an address on my left-hand side, driving down a pretty main road. I'm slowing down, and I'm looking for that address. And I look both ways, always, or look down and try to make sure if I'm turning that there's no one in front of me. And when I looked, no one was there. And when I looked back, there were lights as I was turning. There was a full-size van, and me collided. My car spun around a few times. Theirs went off into a front yard of one of the houses there. The engine was shifted back into my lap, and somehow in that car, which you had a hard time reaching your hand out and touching the windshield, my head had hit it and broken the windshield. The crazy part is I didn't actually have a scratch on me from it. When the police showed up, the police looked at the license and registration and everything. He's like, this car isn't registered to you. I said, no, sir, it's registered to my mom. He says, what do you drive? And I told him, I said, that Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. And he goes, if you had been in that car, you'd be dead right now. Everybody in the van was okay. I was okay, miraculously. Obviously, my mom was shook up a little bit, and when she saw the car at the wrecker lot, she broke down again because she saw how bad the car was just mangled. The crazy part about it is going home, and my car at home, the one that wouldn't start that morning, started right up. Never take these miracles for granted. God does amazing things in our life every day, and so many times we take things for granted. We look at His beautiful creation, the trees, the sun, the birds. You can hear the birds all around me. It's just things we take for granted, but we can see His greatness in all of it. It's a very supernatural world. There's a good and an evil war going on all around us. There's that quote that says, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making the world think he didn't exist. Well, he exists. And so do those other demons, so do those other fallen angels. The powers of darkness, the Ephesians 6:12 verse that talks about the principalities and dark forces in an unseen realm. It's all around us. But we have God. The same God that sent Jesus to die for you and die for me. The same God that already has declared victory. The war's over. We won. But there's still a lot of little battles being fought.
You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Substack. If you'd like to reach out and ask a question or just leave a general comment, go to Againsttheherdpodcast@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you.